Stop emotional overload and reclaim your inner peace now. I was standing at the edge of a cliff. Literally. Wind howling. Cold biting at my skin. Heart pounding like war drums inside my chest. Behind me was the life I had always known: stress, chaos, constant overthinking, emotional breakdowns. The feeling that the world was just too much. And I wasn't built for it. In front of me, a foggy, endless void. But I had heard whispers of something hidden in that mist. Something ancient. Something peaceful. Something that could change everything. And I knew. I felt. That if I stepped into that mist, I wouldn't come out the same person. This is not just a story. This is a journey. One that starts with you feeling broken, exhausted, and emotionally overwhelmed, and ends with a kind of peace so deep, it almost feels supernatural. If you're someone who's been drowning in your own feelings, losing yourself in everyone else's expectations, I promise you, what you're about to experience will shatter everything you think you know about emotional balance. But here's the catch. I'm not going to spoon-feed you a bunch of fluffy affirmations and tell you to meditate your problems away. No. You're going to earn your peace. You're going to descend into the very heart of your emotional chaos and come back reborn. In the next 10 minutes, you'll witness a mysterious spiritual encounter that's never been seen on YouTube before. You'll uncover a hidden prophecy whispered by a hermit monk who disappeared 300 years ago. And if you stay to the end, I'll reveal to you the ancient practice that helped me silence the emotional overload in just 6 minutes a day. And it might just save your life. So, are you ready to walk through the storm? Let's go. The story begins on a rainy night in Kyoto. I was searching, not for a person, not for a destination, but for an answer. My chest was constantly tight. Every text, every email, every comment online was like a brick on my shoulders. I had reached a point where even silence felt loud. A local guide took me through the alleys of the old city. His name was Daiki, a man in his 70s, but with eyes that looked like they'd seen centuries. As we reached a small hidden temple built into the side of a mountain, he whispered to me, "The storm is not outside you. It's in here." And he pointed directly at my heart. That night, he handed me a scroll, not printed, handwritten. It had been passed down from master to disciple for generations. The scroll read, "When the soul forgets how to listen, the heart starts screaming." And that's when it hit me. I hadn't been overwhelmed because I was weak. I was overwhelmed because I was ignoring the sacred voice within. I was so plugged into everything else. News, notifications, opinions, that I'd muted the one frequency that mattered most, my own. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat with yourself? Not your thoughts, not your worries, but you. And truly listened? Now, at the 3-minute mark of this journey, something happened I'll never forget. As Daiki and I meditated near the temple's ancient cherry tree, one said to have grown from the tears of a forgotten goddess, a cold wind rushed through the leaves. The entire world fell silent. Even the rain paused. And in that eerie stillness, I heard a voice. Not in my ears, but deep inside me. It said, "You are carrying what was never yours." My eyes shot open. I looked at Daiki. He wasn't surprised. "It has begun," he said. That moment changed everything. Because suddenly, I realized how much of my emotional weight wasn't even mine. I was carrying fear passed down from generations. Guilt that wasn't mine. Expectations society had dumped on my back. All of it. An invisible burden I never agreed to hold. From that point on, the journey got darker, and more beautiful. We traveled to sacred sites across the world. Peru, Jordan, Mongolia, each holding fragments of a forgotten spiritual technology. Not tech like circuits or wires, but wisdom, practices so powerful, so direct. They could melt years of pain in minutes. And no one was talking about them. In the highlands of Bolivia, I met a woman named Alma. She had once been in a catatonic state for 7 years. One day, during a lunar eclipse, she emerged from silence and began painting symbols. Symbols that no known language could explain. But every person who looked at them, their eyes would tear up. She told me, feelings are language too, but no one taught us how to read them. Let that sink in. You and I, we've spent years feeling but never really learning how to interpret our emotions. And because of that, they've ruled us, dominated us, overwhelmed us. But what if emotions weren't enemies? What if they were messages, coded signals from the soul? One night, in the deserts of Jordan, I sat with a Sufi mystic. He told me that emotional overload happens when the soul is screaming and the mind keeps hitting mute. He showed me a breath technique that simulates the vibration of the cosmos, a way to harmonize the frequencies in our body with those of the earth. After 3 minutes of practice, I burst into tears, not out of sadness, but because I felt peaceful, for the first time in decades. We don't need to escape our emotions. We need to decode them, to sit with them, gently, like you would with a child who's scared, to ask, what are you trying to tell me? Whose voice am I hearing when I feel this pressure? Is this fear mine, or inherited? There is so much ancient truth that's been buried beneath modern noise. It's not that inner peace is hard to find. It's that we've been looking in the wrong direction. Peace isn't hiding. It's just being drowned out by 10.000 open browser tabs in your mind. But stay with me, because in the next segment, I'm going to take you into a lost chamber hidden deep beneath a Tibetan monastery, where I uncovered a prophecy written over 800 years ago. What it said about our generation will haunt you, in the best way possible. The hidden voice beneath your emotions, unlocking the prophecy that will reshape your soul. I didn't believe it at first. When the monk led me down into the monastery's subterranean chamber, I thought it would just be more incense, relics, and quiet chanting. But this was different. The air was heavy, thick with a vibration you could feel in your bones. As the door creaked open, a golden light shimmered on the walls. Symbols carved into stone, glowing faintly like they were alive. The monk, whose name was Tenzin, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Only those drowning in emotion are able to read what's written here." What I saw made my heart stop. The prophecy was written in a language I'd never learned, yet somehow I understood it perfectly. It said, "In the age of endless connection, the soul will starve. When the minds are fed but the hearts remain empty. One must go inward, not to escape, but to remember." And then a line that sent chills down my spine. You are not broken. You are overloaded with forgotten truths. Suddenly, every breakdown, every panic attack, every moment I thought I was too sensitive, too emotional, too much, it all made sense. I wasn't cursed. I wasn't weak. I was just full of unprocessed pain, full of ancient voices screaming to be heard. And somewhere inside, buried beneath all that noise, was my truth, waiting patiently for me to remember. You see, emotional overload isn't a disease. It's a signal, a spiritual alarm. And if you're feeling that right now, if life feels too loud, too fast, too much, it might be because your soul is finally trying to get your attention. But you might ask, okay, but how do I deal with it? How do I stop drowning in it? That's where it gets wild. Let me take you to the jungles of Indonesia. I met a woman named Ketat. Tiny frame, big spirit, wild laugh. She lived completely alone in a hand-built bamboo hut. No electricity, no phone, just her and the sound of the river. I asked her, "How do you deal with overwhelming emotion?" She smiled and said, "You don't deal with it. You let it pass through you. Emotion is just weather. You are the sky." That line hit me so hard. I almost fell backwards. Because I'd been trying to control everything I felt. Wrestling my sadness. Battling my fear. Arguing with my anxiety. Thinking that's what strength was. But true strength? True peace? It's in becoming a container big enough to hold it all without being consumed. Let me put it this way. Have you ever screamed into your pillow? Broken down in the car? Felt like you were going to implode? And then afterward, this weird, sudden stillness came over you? That's your soul. Clearing out space. It's not weakness. It's alchemy. The moment after the storm when everything is washed clean. We are taught to fear our emotions. But no one tells us that on the other side of fear is freedom. Now, I want to share something I've never told anyone online before. It's a practice I received from a reclusive healer in the Carpathian Mountains. Someone the locals believed could hear the spirit of emotion itself. She told me to do 3 things. I've done them every day for 5 years. They take 6 minutes. And they changed everything. Step 1, the breath of stillness. You breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Do this while placing your hand over your heart. Imagine breathing through your chest. Feel the tension melt. Step 2, the mirror whisper. You sit in silence. Close your eyes. And ask, what emotion am I refusing to feel? Then you wait. Let whatever rises come. Don't judge it. Let it speak. Step 3, the surrender phrase. Say out loud, I am safe to feel this. It will not drown me. I am the ocean, not the wave. 6 minutes. That's it. But if you do it daily, truly do it. Not just go through the motions. You'll begin to notice something bizarre. Colors will feel brighter. People will say, you seem different. And for the first time in a long time, you'll feel room inside your chest again. Let me ask you a question. What are you pretending to be okay with? That's actually breaking you inside? We all do it. We smile. We say, I'm fine. But beneath the surface, we're shaking. Not because we're flawed, but because we never learned how to empty out the emotional buildup. The truth is, peace isn't something you find. It's what's left over when you stop clinging to pain that was never yours to carry. And there's something else. During one of my meditations near a waterfall in Costa Rica, I saw a vision. Not metaphorically, but an actual image. So clear I thought I was dreaming. It was a massive heart, made of stars, split into thousands of fragments. And across the sky, I saw people like you and me holding one fragment each. All of us searching, grieving, aching, thinking we were broken. But the truth was, we were parts of something whole. And in that moment, I understood something so profound. I almost screamed. You're not overwhelmed because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because you're deeply, wildly, beautifully alive. You feel so much because you're connected to so much. That's not a flaw. It's your superpower. But like any power, it needs to be understood, honored, refined. And that's why we're here. Because now, we're going even deeper. In the final part of this journey, I'm going to take you into the actual cave where I was given an ancient ritual. Something believed to cleanse generational pain from your emotional field. This practice was hidden from the public for centuries. Until now. I'll also reveal a vision I received during a 13-hour silent fast. One that showed me exactly why people today are emotionally overloaded. And how the solution has been hiding in plain sight all along. If you think what you've seen so far was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. You are the ocean, not the wave, the forgotten ritual that clears emotional pain across generations. There was no path, only jungle, dense, alive, breathing. To get to the cave, we had to hike for 11 hours through the Amazon rainforest, guided by a shaman named Tiago. He didn't say much, just walked barefoot, carrying nothing but a small pouch made from jaguar skin. I'd asked him why this ritual was kept secret for so long. He looked over his shoulder and said, because the world had not suffered enough to be ready. That hit me like a bolt of lightning. Think about that for a second. How many times in your life have you wished for peace? Begged for rest? Pleaded for something to just stop hurting? And yet, maybe it was the suffering itself that cracked you open wide enough to let the light in. When we finally reached the mouth of the cave, Tiago stopped. From here, you go alone, he said. I took a step forward, heart pounding, every part of me screaming to turn back. But something deeper, something ancient, was calling me forward. Inside the cave, it was pitch black. The air was thick with a strange warmth, like the earth itself was exhaling. As I moved deeper, I began to feel something pulling at me. Not physically, but emotionally. Memories, all at once. My childhood, my heartbreaks, my mistakes, all crashing in. I dropped to my knees. And then, the walls began to glow. Symbols began to pulse on the cave's surface, one after another, like the cave was alive, responding to me. And then, I saw her. A woman of light, transparent but radiant, floating above the stone floor, her eyes, infinitely kind, but fierce like the sun. She said nothing, just reached into her chest, and pulled out a golden flame. Then, without a word, she placed it inside mine. The moment it touched me, I saw everything. I saw every time I'd ignored my intuition. Every time I'd let someone else's opinion replace my own knowing. Every time I'd swallow tears because I thought they were inconvenient. And then, boom, all of it melted. Just gone. Like smoke. I was left with this overwhelming sense of emptiness. But not in a sad way. In the way a room feels after you throw open all the windows and finally breathe fresh air. When I left the cave, I didn't speak for hours. Tiago looked at me and smiled. You felt it? I nodded. I couldn't even explain what it was. But it was real. It was more real than anything I'd felt before. The overload? Gone. The panic? Gone. The noise? Silent. Because the ritual wasn't just a ceremony. It was a return to the you that existed before the world told you who to be. Let me share the core of the ritual with you. Even though I can't bring you into that exact cave, the practice they passed down to me is something you can do right now, wherever you are. Step 1, the burn list. Write down everything you're holding that doesn't belong to you. Guilt, expectations, pressure, shame. Doesn't matter how small. If it isn't truly yours, it goes on the list. Step 2, the return ritual. Light a candle. Hold the list. Say, I return this to the source. I no longer carry what isn't mine. I am free. Burn it. Watch the smoke rise. That's not paper. That's release. Step 3, the seal. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, I belong to peace. Peace belongs to me. Say it again. And again. Until you believe it. Don't underestimate how powerful this is. You may cry. You may shake. You may laugh. Whatever happens, let it. This is your nervous system remembering what it feels like to be safe. But let me warn you, after this, your life will change. You will no longer be able to stay in environments that drain you. You will no longer tolerate shallow conversations. You will crave silence, truth, presence. You will be different. And some people won't understand it. That's okay. They're not supposed to. Because your peace is not a performance. It's your birthright. Now, here's the vision I saw during my 13-hour silent fast. I saw billions of people, scrolling, chasing, talking, thinking, but no one was listening. And then I saw a ripple begin, starting with one person who chose stillness, who chose breath, who chose presence. That one ripple began to calm the chaos around them. Others felt it. They didn't even know why. But they began to slow down. And soon, it spread, city by city, heart by heart, until the entire world exhaled. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to heal the planet. You just need to become the quiet in the storm. And the storm will change because of you. So let me ask you, right now, what are you waiting for? Peace isn't a place you reach after solving all your problems. Peace is the space you create in spite of them. Are you ready to stop being a victim to your emotions and become the listener of their wisdom? Are you willing to stop blaming the world for being loud, and start turning down the volume inside your own mind? Because here's the truth no one told us. Emotional overload is not a problem. It's a portal. And you were born to walk through it. You've been prepared for this moment through every heartbreak, every meltdown, every panic attack that made you question your sanity. You weren't breaking. You were becoming. Becoming someone who feels everything and still chooses presence. Becoming someone who can hold both pain and beauty in the same breath. Becoming someone who knows, deep in their bones, that they are safe within themselves. And if no one's ever told you this before, let me be the first. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not dramatic. You are alive. You are sacred. You are needed. And the world doesn't need a quieter you. It needs a more peaceful you. Because when one person finds peace within, they become a lighthouse for everyone else drowning in the storm. You've made it through the hardest part. Now, the healing begins. Breathe in. Let go. Welcome home.